just kind of start in a little bit. I want to go through, kind of clear up the Tulsa game from our previous week. Offensively, I thought overall it was our best performance, but still wasn't enough. And when I say our best performance, it's the best we've played overall as an offensive unit. But again, it wasn't enough. We come into that week, especially coming off the Temple week, and challenged our offensive line to help protect the quarterback, the young quarterback that we got. And if we could do that, we could give Ben a chance. And I thought they responded exceptionally well with the pressure that we put on them, that I put on them, that our staff put on, that they put on themselves, with no sacks, which led to the best performance that I thought Ben Hicks has had in his young career. And it's amazing how that works. And it also is amazing when you're able to do that and not have any turnovers. But again, it still wasn't enough, and it wasn't acceptable. Losing's not acceptable in this program. I thought we had our chances, but we were very poor on third down. Our third down performance was 4 of 19. It's hard to beat anybody when you're 4 of 19 on third down, especially when you're 0 for on short yardage, 3rd and 1. Those opportunities right there prevent drives from continuing, and it leads to scoring opportunities for Tulsa, in which they took full advantage of. But we got to become a better third down team. That's something we've focused during our open week on. Over the second half of the season, to get the progress that we want, the third down game's got to get better offensively. Thought we had some opportunities, as I mentioned before. We had 2 rail routes up the sidelines, one to Braden West, one to James Prochet, that in regulation late in the 4th quarter, that I would have led to a scoring opportunity. I don't know if they would have scored. I don't know if Braden would have scored on it, but he would have definitely got down into, if it wasn't a touchdown, it was going to definitely be down into a scoring opportunity for us with a first down, keeping the chains moving, keeping their offense off the field. I thought our inside zone, we had an inside zone play in regulation in the final 30 seconds of the game that we were so close. I thought we were going to get through there, and we tripped up over our own guy with Braden, and that would have ended the game, which in regulation we missed a protection call in regulation with a rail route up the sideline to Jeremiah Gaines, that we had a protection called wrong, that would have gave Ben an opportunity to hold the ball just a little bit longer and get Jeremiah up the sidelines, which he was going to be wide open. So those were our opportunities. We didn't make them. And, from a defensive standpoint, I thought we played hard. We played extremely physical. But we had 3 critical mistakes on misalignments, on crucial drives that led to touchdown runs. And we gave up 300-plus yards of rushing, which against any team, it demoralizes you. It deflates you, especially when they're able to run the football, and when you line up and you miss your gap, you go out and you cover a number 3 receiver because you see that no one was out there on him as a linebacker, and which wasn't his job to begin with. We had a safety over the top, but he goes out, does his own thing. When he does, he leaves the gap open, and it's amazing how things happen, that the ball seems to find the areas when you make your most opportune mistakes, and they did that on 3 of them. 2 of them were on the same drive, but they were efficient on third down. You got to give them credit, and to keep drives alive and their scoring opportunities. I thought the turning point in the game came with about the 3:48 mark in the first half. It's a moment what we call our 4 over 4 moments. It's the 4 minutes before half, and it's the 4 minutes after half that we put so much emphasis on and have since last January. We're fully aware of the moment. Everybody on the sideline is talking about the moment. Hey, it's a 4 over 4 moment for us. 3:48 on the clock. We just scored a field goal because we were unable to convert a 3rd and short. We had to settle for a field goal. Josh did a great job with that, and So we kick off to them, and we get 2 personal fouls. We had 6 penalties last week. 5 of them were on special teams. 2 of them were on this one play I'm about to talk about, which led to 2 personal fouls. Just absolute mistakes. It cannot happen. No one coaches it, and it's unacceptable, and leads them to start the drive on the plus 27-yard line. And for our defense to come out on the field and hold them just to a field goal shows the effort, shows the improvement that our defense has made. We get the ball right back after holding them to a field goal, and our inability to convert 3rd and 1 led us to have to punt the football under 2 minutes, right around the 2-minute mark, and was the best punt of the night by Jamie. They have to go 92 yards, and they did it in 1:06. So with 5 first downs. So when you start looking at those moments, the final 3 minutes and 48 seconds of half, you give up 10 points. And those are the moments you can't have. Good football teams find a way to finish a half and start a second half, and that's an area that we've put so much emphasis on. And for us to achieve the results that we want to achieve over the next 46 days and the next 6 games, those are areas that we got to eliminate, and we've got to put points on the board. At worst, just go into 4-over-4 moments with a split, and but don't give up points, and that's happened each of the last 2 weeks. So again, very demoralizing when that happens, and devastating in the locker room. I thought our kids played exceptionally hard. We had our chances in overtime, and as hurt as I've seen a locker room since I've been here in 18 games, which shows you care, that they care, that they believe, and that we were so close. And I firmly believe that this program is exceptionally close right now, extremely close. We just need a break. You create your own breaks is what I shared with our football team. And going into our open week, we don't give guys off. We don't give them a day off. There's no such thing in this program as a day off. We'll give them mental conditioning days, but it's an opportunity for our guys to get their minds right as they finish the final 46 games or 46 days. And we're going to do it one day at a time, 46 more times. And so we gave them Saturday and Sunday after the Tulsa game as a mental conditioning day. We practiced Monday through Thursday. We got our high rep guys some rest. Your Braden West guys, Justin Lawler, guys that have gotten exceptionally amount of high reps over the first half of the season, got them some rest and let them get mental rest or mental reps as they went through practice over the last those 4 days. Give us an opportunity to go back to fundamentals, things you can't focus on during the course of the season because you're too worried about game planning. So we're able to dial back and do some more fundamentals, work on some things tackling, things that footwork drills. But the open week was good for us. We were able to get some guys back healthy. This is as healthy of a football team as we've had since early in the year. Considering we have lost 8 guys for the year, it's as healthy as we can possibly be. Some opportunities for some live work. There was a lot of good work out there this week. We were full pads, so that was good to see. We had some scrimmage opportunities for our younger players, and to be able to see how they respond in some game situations. So that was good to see as well. But and then we took mental conditioning days on Friday and Saturday, and then we were back into our routine on Sunday with a team meeting and our training session Sunday night. But looking forward to this opportunity this week that it presents for our program and our young team. We are one of the youngest teams in all of college football. Again, this is the 2nd year in a row for that. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to sit up here and tell you we're a veteran team, but we're not at this point. We're playing 35 of the 47 kids that we signed over the last 2 years. This is the 8th youngest offensive producing football team in all of college football. Where 90% of all the production is coming out of our freshmen and sophomores. You can look at that as being good or bad, because you're playing that many young guys. There are mistakes that are made, but we're going to have to play up to our standard this week, this Saturday at 6 o'clock. There's no doubt about that. They're very talented. They have a quarterback that's playing as well as any quarterback in the country. Offensively, Greg Ward makes them right, and he covers for any deficiencies that they might have. Well, I haven't seen any deficiencies. He definitely is everything and more of what you expect in your quarterback. He's playing exceptionally well and has played exceptionally well for the last 3 years when he took over the job, and no one stopped him yet. And so we've got our work cut out for us. No question, he's one of the best players, if not the best player in our conference right now, and definitely one of the tops in the country, as I mentioned. He does an exceptional job of extending the plays with his feet and his eyes. That's where he becomes so efficient, is when he gets flushed out of the pocket. And he's got everybody dropping into pass coverage, or he has to sit back in the pocket and keeps his eyes down the field. He's got a great instinct. He knows when to take off and run forward. He's gritty, he's poised, and as a quarterback, that's what you ask. He's got a great combination of skill, and his talent level is exceptional. But the running backs, Duke Catalan is questionable. Was playing exceptionally well early in the year for him. I expect him to play. I know he's been out. I think they're expecting to get him back this week, so we expect him fully to be healthy. Their wide receivers out on the edge are big, they're physical. They do a great job of blocking in space, and very precise in their route running. They're one of the top offenses in the country, averaging 43 points a game, and they're over 500 yards a game offensively. So they're all that from an offensive standpoint and more. We'll have to play really well defensively to contain these guys. But from a defensive standpoint, when you look at their defensive side of the ball, they got what I feel like is the best defensive player in our conference, one of the top guys in the country as well, and just a true freshman in Ed Oliver. He's all that he's built up to be in recruiting and more. He's disruptive, he's active, he's relentless. He's definitely a difference maker. When you turn the film on, as you would expect, as we share with our guys all the time, when you turn the film on and you can look at a guy and go, wow, okay, you know you're playing well. And if you stand out in a positive way, you know you definitely are playing exceptionally well. And he is. He catches everybody's attention. You wish you could say you could double him, but when you do, you leave some other guys up front. Defensively, from a front seven standpoint, they're as good a defensive front seven as we've seen this year. They're all over the field, and going back to Ed Oliver, I mean, this guy plays sideline to sideline. He's in the backfield. He's knocking down passes, and just an exceptional football player. And batted a couple of balls down against Tulsa, which in some key situations. But everyone's had a hard time running football on these guys. That's the one thing you see going back and looking to last year. And they're playing well. Their linebacker core is solid. Stephen Taylor is one of the returners that they have from last year's defense. He's instinctive. He's physical. Same way with Matthew Adams. They're very physical at their linebacker position. They do a great job of pressuring the quarterback, disguising their coverages behind it, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But the DBs are very active. They only give up 300 yards a game from a defensive standpoint, 19 points a game. So, from a defensive standpoint, offensively looking at them, we've got to play to our standard to move the football on these guys. And they're well coached. They play with a relentless effort. But special teams, as you would expect from one of the top teams in our conference, you would expect them to be a difference maker, and they are. They're very sound, they're effective, they're efficient. So just kind of summary, we got our work cut out for us, as I shared with you. Going to have to play to our standard. There's 46 days remaining in the regular season for this conference and for this football team, and every goal that we've set for ourselves is still attainable. It's about how we respond, the SMU Mustangs, how we respond to the events that occur this Saturday and that have occurred in the 6 prior games that we played. I expect it to be physical, and the only thing that we can control is how we respond. We had a great week last week, and got some guys back, got a chance to get our legs back up underneath us, but coming off a game in Tulsa when we had our chances, we got to see how we respond when we get back out on the field. So I'm excited for this program as we continue to build it, and the expectations for our program and this Saturday are to perform to our standard. And I'm excited about it. Our staff is excited about this, as we would be for any game, to get back out there and get going. And so great challenges lie ahead of us, and there's some opportunities there for us. We got to play well, though. With that, I'll open up for questions.
You get 2 offensive linemen back this week. How important is that, and how do you see that shake out in terms of who will play and how much?
Well, to get Nick Natur back is big. We thought he could play against Tulsa, and we had him ready, and he would have been an emergency guy. So him to be back fully healthy has helped. You know, what it does more than anything, it allows us to get guys back into their normal position that started the season. You know, Jerry now be able to move back inside, and so Chauncey gets to play the side he's normally used to playing, his right tackle, and so that's been good for us. Gives us some depth back. We continue to work Keaton Bates, and hope that he continues to progress. That we're getting him back now. Braylon Hyder went out against Tulsa. He's expected to be back. Daniel McCarty, which wasn't 100% at the Tulsa game, he's back 100% now. And so, yeah, it does. It helps you from anything, just an overall depth standpoint. You know, you get Darryl Colbert back. Darryl Colbert will be back, which is huge for us at the quarterback position. He provides a run threat for us. So I'm excited to get Darryl back. He's been throwing the last couple of weeks and doing a good job with that. But if anything, it gives you some depth for Ben, so you don't have to work a Kamen Freeman at running back, where you've kind of you've limited him. You've made him where he's had to think about running back and that quarterback, because you were so deficient at the quarterback position with just one scholarship guy out there. I mean, you're flirting with it. We knew that coming into this year, that this could be a possibility with only 3 on campus. And so so there's been a lot of sleepless nights for a lot of us, and Coach Craddock and myself, going what happens if Ben goes down. So now Darryl's back, and Darryl will play, and so we're excited about getting him back. And, so yes, definitely makes things a little bit easier from a depth perception.
Darryl, he's got a hand injury.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was an off-the-field incident. Yeah, it was an off-the-field incident that happened, I guess, the week that we were getting ready to play Baylor, and so, or the week after Baylor, I guess. So his progress has been good. I think that's been 6 weeks ago, right at it, and so he's throwing the ball well. So.
You talked about the emotion, the heartbreak after the Tulsa game. What did you and your staff do to try to help the guys get through it when you have an off week, and it might be natural for the guys to let down a little bit after a tough loss like that? How do you keep them up and focused in the off week?
Well, back into our open week, and again, like I said, we don't believe in anything off week around here, but what I would say is the biggest thing we had to do is we had to talk about the mental preparation of this game. And it was all about how you were going to respond. They're not going to cancel the season. All right, you got 6 games remaining. When we roll back in here on Sunday, we always talk about the final 48. The final 48 hours before the game, the final 48 days of the season. It's all about the final 48. And how we respond over the next 48 will determine where we all sit in the outcome of this season. What's it going to be? You're not going to be remembered by the first 6 games. You'll be remembered by the last 6 games and how you respond. And so, you share with them that hey, look, when we saw you hurt, we were hurting, the staff was hurting. There was a lot of hurt in that locker room. And for the first time in 18 games, that's the first time I've seen so many people hurting in a locker room. And so, which tells me that the care factor is going higher and higher. And the more you care, the more you give. And it works hand in hand. And the more you give, the more you care. And so, you know, just to share with them that, look, we're all in it together. It happened. We had our chances. You show them where the chances were. You show them in the mistakes that we made that we could prevent. We show them 3rd and 1. If you're able to convert a 3rd and 1, you keep them off the field. You keep a drive moving. You got to run harder. You got to block harder. You got to coach harder. You got to tackle harder. You got to do a lot of things better to get to the level that we want to get to. And you share with them that, hey, look, we got a chance. One way or the other, this team's going to go one direction or another this open week that we have, and it's all predicated on how we respond. And I thought we responded really well, especially going back to fundamentals. We were in full pads, live tackling. I mean, it was getting after it, and there wasn't anybody complaining. They got after it, and we worked hard, and that's what you ask. That's what you ask a program on the rise to do, is respond the right way. If we all respond the right way, then the outcomes will eventually get there. But we can't control the outcomes. All we can control is how we respond.
You talked about Temple and the opportunity there, and you were disappointed you did not seize that opportunity. Is that magnified this week?
Are you talking about Tulsa or Temple?
No, Temple, the game before that.
Yeah.
In that opportunity, you were disappointed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
In looking at Houston, is this another opportunity? Consider that another opportunity like that? Is that something you preach to the guys, or is that like a step out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at each one of these conference games is a huge opportunity, and you know, we felt like going up to Temple that we were both 2-2. Their season was on the line, or their young season. They hadn't played as well. We were 2-2. We felt like it would be a huge turning point for us in the direction that this football team would go. And we got up there, and you know, like we shared with our guys, that they practice too now. You know, they're on scholarship too. They get meals and books and tuition. They get that too. They watch film too. They work out in the summer too. And so they're not going to give it to you. You got to go earn it. And that was the biggest challenge for our guys, that they wanted it more. We didn't deserve. You get what you deserve. We didn't deserve to win that game. We didn't play well enough to win that game. And so we felt like that we squandered an opportunity. It became an event. It's no longer it wasn't an outcome anymore. It was the event. Now we had to move forward. How are we going to respond to the Temple game against Tulsa? And in some areas we improved. And in some areas we made some very critical mistakes at inopportune times, and you know, it just seems like those things they show up, and they get, and where we are in our program, people capitalize on it. We do still have some guys, and I firmly believe we got some guys playing as well as anybody in the country. We just need more of them. And then obviously the Tulsa game, and coming into this week, this is a huge opportunity for this program, and so will next week. Next week will be a great opportunity for this program, but the only thing we can control is this week, and how we respond to our open week, how we respond to getting better last week as a team moving forward. And you know, everybody gets so focused and caught up on we got to control the outcome. The outcome's this, the outcome's that. No, you have no control over the outcome. But how you do have control is out of the response. And that's not just on the football field, that's in life in general. So,
what differences do you see in the Houston team that beat Oklahoma and smoked Cincinnati versus the team that got beat by Navy and hung on against Tulsa?
Well, I first of all, I think this is a football team, as I shared earlier, that's they've got so much talent. They're playing well. I know that they've gotten some injuries along the way, as we all have. That's part of football. They've got guys that are stepping in and making plays. They're young in some areas, but I've watched every one of their ball games and numerous times, and on all sides of the ball, all phases of the game, and they're playing pretty well. I can't find too many deficiencies in them right now.
During the bye week.
I'm sorry?
During the bye week, anybody in particular stand out in practice, and what were some of the things that you were emphasizing when you had
Yeah, I thought we had some young guys that stood out. They got a lot of reps last week, so that was good to see. Some of our guys, I thought Rafe Peavy had a good week as a young guy, as a guy that's not eligible right now. I thought Trey Quinn is going to be a phenomenal football player for us. He's a name you'll hear about, a young guy that's not eligible this year, that had an opportunity to get out there and really get more involved into the team atmosphere of it. He's been injured a little bit, but coming off surgery, but he's been back, been able to go through some things, so it was good to see him get out and get some live reps. Noah Spears is another one. You see getting some good live reps. And there's some redshirt guys. So again, there's a lot of young guys stood out. Our veteran guys, the high rep guys, again, we tried to get them as much mental reps as possible.
Anything else for Coach?
On those third and shorts you talked about being over, what do you want to see change and improve?
Yeah, I want to see us run harder. I want to see us block harder. I want to see us coach harder. I want to see us do everything a little bit more. Our motto is one more. And we needed one more yard, and we were unable to get the one more yard in the opportune times. And those are the things that separate you from in a game like that of being able to continue to drive, score points, and punt the ball. And when you put an explosive offense on the field like you do on the short yardage, that's eventually at some point those guys are going to break through and they're going to go score. And I think they've done that against everybody this year that they've played. So again, it's just again it's going back to just a want to and keep pushing, keep playing, keep a little bit harder.
When you look at Jamie Sackville, obviously he's got a little bit of an unorthodox motion, and sometimes he has the end over end, but he is averaging 40 yards. How would you evaluate the job he's done so far?
Well, I think as a true freshman, I think he's done a good job handling the situations. He's had to punt quite a bit, and thought he'd done a good job. I would like to see us continue to develop him, and he's again being a freshman, you're learning the game. You get a lot of things coming right at you, and I think he's doing a really good job with it, for the most part. I'd like to see him be a little bit more consistent in his kicks, but he's getting better as the year goes.